exactly on time for Kumkum Devidasi to share a few words. Namaste, Hare
Namaste.
Krishna,
Hare
welcome.
Krishna.
This is Pam and Steve.
Pam and Steve, welcome. And this is Kumkum Devidasi.
Very happy to meet you.
She's a long time practitioner of Bhakti Yoga, and she's about to share something for half an hour or 25 minutes or something to give us time to go over. Half an hour.
Okay.
From Kumkum Devidasi.
Okay. Greetings with respects to all of the people here today. And we feel very fortunate because we have been taught by such illustrious teachers, and it bears sharing. And so that's what we're here to do. And if someone has a question, this is very informal. Don't hesitate to interrupt and ask a question. I heard that the topic to speak on today is about there's temple life and then there's our home life as well. And sometimes there are children there in the home. And how to see that the two are together. Not that we can only be happy and feel that we are pursuing Krishna consciousness when we're at the temple. But we know that Sri Krishna is everywhere. There's nowhere that he's not. And so we can actually continue to always be learning these essential truths wherever we are. And we're really, that's very good news. So that's what I was thinking I would speak about. But I wonder if anybody has a particular question, actually on any subject.
This is a great topic actually, Kumkum, because even the corporate life, they're looking for us to do a work-life balance.
Yes.
Before COVID, it was very hard to even get 1 day or 2 hours of leave. If you have to go medical, this, that, personal.
Wow.
But COVID gave companies that if you don't want to retain people, people will go away. Whichever company gives the flexibility. So the companies have realized we have to give our employees work-life balance.
Okay.
So they have given us flexibility to work from home. And we don't work only 8 hours, we might extend. But we give a gap, do our chores with family life, big drop, etc., and we extend our working hours. So it's really great topic actually to how we also balance our spiritual life. You know, and not wait till 70 years old to connect with Krishna. It is a process.
Yes,
So
yes.
great topic. Thank you so much.
Okay, I will try. And it's actually very important to understand, not that we will wait till we're 70 years old and can retire, or maybe when I was young, I did something which was great at the time, but I have to kind of step away from it now because of my life, like my professional life, or any other things in my home that have made me extremely busy. Many people have children, and when we have young children, they tend to seem to take over. And by knowing about the truth, the absolute truth, which is given by our gurus of everything behind the scenes of all that we see manifest, the more we can understand it's in complete harmony. It is balanced. And so how will we adjust our minds to see this balance and to feel very harmonized and peaceful enough to continue? And so part of our spiritual life, when we take that up, we value very much to have particular principles, and like we take up vegetarianism, and we can fit that in somehow or other, but also our practices. We want to chant on our japa, as we have promised to that guru who is giving us so much guidance, and we see that that helps us. And we also want to continue to hear from the sadhus and the saints constantly, the kirtan guide, the songs that we sing, especially if we start to read, we start to meditate on them, and we're astounded at how helpful they are in the sense of heart touching and heart transforming. And then there are so many nice books. Some are directly scripture, like Srimad Bhagavatam, written by Krishnadas Kaviraj, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Bhagavad Gita. It's always something we can depend on, like a user manual to what is the purpose of human life. And now that is a topic which we can go into so much, not in these few moments, but we can know that that is there to assist us at all times. And so whatever it is that we're doing, whether we're directly meditating on Krishna and the teachings of our gurus very in a concentrated way, and somehow or other we find a way to make some time where that is definitely our concentration for a portion of time. Or if it's when we have to leave directly thinking about that. If we have to drive our car in busy traffic, we should be thinking about what the other cars are doing and making sure ahead of time that our car is in good working order. All of these things, they're not separate from Krishna consciousness and seeing how to serve Krishna. And in a real similar way, if we have our young children to take care of, then they're coming from Krishna. And sometimes this would be a misunderstanding in the early days when we first met Srila Prabhupada. People would be taken at the necessity for Krishna consciousness and maybe even design their lives in a rather fanatical way. And when it was asked of Srila Prabhupada, how do I do service in the temple? Because I have this child to take care of, and everything about our home also could be seen as something, a separate kind of service than our service in the temple. But about the children, Srila Prabhupada would say, if you can't take care of your child and also be the pujari, which is very important service in the temple. Many people are relying on that to go steadily. He said, you give up being the pujari and you take care of your child. And the same thing about our job. If we have promised to our boss who's giving us in exchange some facility to maintain our whole life in service, then we won't try to disappoint that person or put that at risk. And that, of course, varies according to every individual situation. But if we're seeing, the more we're learning that everything is coming from Krishna, there is no circumstance which is outside his arrangement. So whatever circumstance we're in, we can serve Krishna. Whether we can speak it like we can in the temple, or if somebody perhaps at our job came up to us and said, you have such happy face. What is your secret? Then we can make a little lunch date with them, and of course that's joyous. But that often doesn't happen. There may be conflicts. Then we can rely on what we've learned from Bhagavad Gita. That's the nature of this world. So we can be fully serving our Guru by trying to understand how true Bhagavad Gita is. And we can think about the pastimes of Mahaprabhu with his devotees and be meditating on, this is actually what we're seeking when we have good relationships. We're seeking this love and affection and eating together precious foodstuffs and dancing and singing and sharing hearts. And all. This is like what we can meditate on so that we can bring this out more and more. And because this is our goal and it seems very natural, then we begin to start to see outside the world, whether we have a job or what if we're a student. And we've got times when the exams are pressing on us. But all of this is somehow or other related to our service to Krishna. And so we can just dive more deeply into that. And especially when it comes to our family members, and especially small children, they're completely dependent on us. And Srila Gurudev also would say, if you raise them with love and affection, naturally they will want to follow you and be like you. And we would see like this in any good family, in any culture. We see that when the children believe that their family, their parents, their aunts and uncles have their best interest at heart, and they can accommodate them as they grow up. They have this, they go this way, they may go that way, but when they feel that whatever their necessities are, they know who's going to accommodate them with love and affection for some reason. And those same people who are a lot more taller than me, they're more powerful than me, they have a lot more capacity than me. I can rely on them, I can listen to them. And so then naturally, that's the best possibility that they will want to, what our desire would be is that they take up Krishna consciousness. And if they don't, then we can reflect on how Sri Krishna gives perfect free will to all living entities. So we can get to know all of these various individual jivas. Maybe they've taken birth in our family, but it's not that they're coming from us. They're coming through us according to his arrangement, the karmic situation, and the same goes for our co-workers, our boss. Far more complex karmic situation and evolution than we can ever figure out. We don't need to figure it out so much. We can just say, aha, Krishna's put me in this situation because I have something to learn. And actually, I saw anybody who is trying to apply like this is truly having a good life. And all of those things will end up going well, because that will bring out the best qualities in us, and that will be obvious to everybody around us, whether it's overtly Krishna conscious or not. But then we get our reward. We want to be around those people who are overtly Krishna consciousness, and we'll find the time for that over the many years of our life, from when we're too young to get started and all of that until our dying day. We'll have more and more opportunity to dive deep into what is this highest of all association. So, what? Does that sound feasible? Okay. Hopefully. We also hear about how our gurus often went through family life and professional life, totally different cultures, but the necessity to respond to the environment is the same as we can do. And so we can take their example about how to deal with this world, which would ordinarily be so difficult. And we can see those who don't have this good fortune of having some sort of spiritual guide, no introduction to Bhagavad Gita. It's really frightening to think of trying to go through life without the user guide. We don't even want that for our telephone, right? Don't make me have to figure things out. Just tell me how it works. And so Bhagavad Gita is completely full in all of the explanations. And when we do see the things that happen in this world, they affect other people, and sometimes it's really terrible that tragedies happen. Someone will say there was this earthquake in another part of the world, and my family members, I can't get in touch with them. Really difficult situations. And sometimes the difficulties will come through dealing with people. Someone was cheated, and it can make somebody get so engrossed in that and think about things like revenge, and I need to get justice. And we can see that it's not that justice alone or revenge is entangling. It's not that the heart becomes satisfied, but some capacity to get substantial, very substantial intro into what is light brings us out of the darkness, and that light makes everything worthwhile. We can see where we fit in. We can see where the person who is still in the dark fits in, and learn something about Krishna from that. Like that idea that Krishna gives free will. Somebody else is coming along, they're getting a bit of that special thing beyond good karma. They're getting that connection, that eternal connection, sukriti, which is that account, that spiritual account that will never go away, that we can still be building as stronger. And find ways to make this life work regardless of what we're doing outside the temple. This life can be benefiting us like that. And knowing that it's in Krishna's hands, whatever it is, we can learn that there's only so much we will do. But learning that we're completely in His hands and that's what we want, we'll grow in that way. We'll see that something is coming that makes it all worthwhile. We'll also have to face our own personal tragedies. This is going to happen to anyone who is embodied, is going to be disembodied at some point. It's not too hard to believe. I must have had a death 70-something years ago, because how did I end up in that body that my parents always showed me that was much smaller than this one? How did I get into that body? I didn't endeavor myself, but I've seen the pictures. So I must have had a death and entered that body, so that will be continuing. So to be able to apply the really valid points wherever we are in our life. Some people are born extremely advanced already and they can become a teacher at a very young age, or they can receive a teacher who is so perfect, who completely adores them as soon as they meet and engages them so that this true wealth continues to get distributed in a very secure way, there for the taking from anyone who is really interested. So I can do something with all of these situations in my life, but by the connection with the saints and sadhu, Vaishnava, Shastra, Guru, then I can enhance what my current situation is. Then whatever comes will be much easier to tolerate. Can even get to the point of being able to explain something, at least to my mind. Doesn't have to be troubled.
I've got a question on the theme of family life. It's a little bit different to the children, but I'm wondering if you could maybe share something for those that might not have heard before about the particular moods in Chaitanya Saraswati of family life and this expression of a family life with Krishna and how Gurudev related to all of us, his disciples and his female disciples, and then the deity in the home, like just the family mood that's very unique to Chaitanya Saraswati.
Okay, this is a very important point, and in case, did everyone hear her question? So this really sweet mood that was astounding, even after practicing Krishna consciousness for some time, but to find that this family mood, which is very much promoted in Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Math, and the vision of Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, our Guru Maharaj, who was himself very happy to simply meditate and serve via his own high-level sadhana and meditation on Mahaprabhu. And he was very satisfied to do that, but he was called to distribute also. And he accepted this, of course. But this was the same mood, the same happiness that he knew as being a family member, a disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur, and that family who is directly in a line of Sriman Mahaprabhu. And he trained his beloved disciple, who we got the opportunity of knowing very, with lots and lots of time over at least 25 years, the interactions with his beloved disciple, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Maharaj, we refer to as Gurudev. And so his personality was always completely one of distributing Srila Guru Maharaj to everyone, and without hesitation and always begging Srila Guru Maharaj to give like 2 minutes. His health might not be so good at the moment, but he'd say, if you'll just speak to them for 2 minutes, that would turn into an hour or 2 or 3, because once this love and affection was coming, then it couldn't be stopped by anything. It would be flowing naturally. But this was definitely the mood of acceptance of anybody who's approaching. They are automatically a family member. So we would see that, like some people who would come and approach him, they would simply offer service. And that could be a more senior type member of the family. There'd be some people who would come who would need more assistance, and they would be affectionately treated, and other people would be engaged to assist somebody who, for some reason, needed more assistance. And so it was always that mood of somebody who is connected in any way, is a family member, is solidly provided for in every way. Sometimes he'd do things like somebody didn't have a sari, and he would find them a sari to wear. Srila Prabhupada was like that too, a lady who did not have a sari, and Srila Prabhupada gave her a dhoti. She was a short lady, so that worked. But we would see that Srila Gurudev was always paying attention who needs a special diet. And there was that time when he realized that the Bengali kitchen was producing prasadam, which was delicious but a little difficult. There were so many Westerners coming, and their stomachs were not quite accustomed to the chili. He created an entirely different kitchen. It would be called the Western Kitchen. And there were many examples of what he was looking for. Didn't have anything to do with behaving or looking like an Indian person or a Bengali person or singing perfectly or something like that. But somebody whose heart was being given and who wanted to serve his Guru Maharaj. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar. So his object, even when he was traveling all over the world, was to happily welcome anybody who's coming and to seeing, and this was Srila Saraswati Thakur too, seeing someone is engaged in the line of service to Mahaprabhu, how can I serve them? That was very much the feeling, just like the most perfect parents would. But I think there's others also who can give good examples of how this is true. We want everyone to know that sweet affection that was just like the father you could always depend on no matter what. I knew one person who had a lot of difficulty, unfortunately, from previous karma, and I saw Srila Gurudev for 2 years trying to try this and try this and try this. Couldn't figure a way to, it would have required too much change to the person's karma, whatever, and he wasn't accepting his own necessity to change. And Srila Gurudev let me know he was very brokenhearted that he had failed to help this person, and he thought of one more thing. And he said, I will ask him if he will sit right here. So his idea to help him was to get him to just not leave his association. And then every day he could be giving whatever assistance was needed. Does he need encouragement? Does he need a little correction? Would be given in the most beautiful, adorable ways. The person wouldn't feel they're being corrected. So this extreme harmony, so that love and affection, in fact, that's the name of his Samadhi Mandir, Temple of Love and Affection. Because when you think of how to describe the Samadhi Mandir, think how to describe that great saint who will be within this Samadhi. And when it came to Srila Govinda Maharaj, it was love and affection. We saw so many people just grow by leaps and bounds because that was what they tasted from him.
And I'm just thinking also like because sometimes it's interesting for people to observe that Guru very much like strict and wanting us to do things properly.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, encouraging us to learn how to navigate with our hearts and in the home too, like with worship. And can you speak
At
a
home
little
as
on that?
well to
Yeah,
worship.
like how we are following some guidelines.
Yes.
But at the same time, how does he then make adjustments like he would in a home, like for allowing like natural behavior?
Well, my conviction is that he personally had this potency, this spiritual potency, that he could accommodate anything. He could make magical things happen. So it's true, like you said, he wanted us all to be tasting at such a level that we can make the most advancement to perfection and the happiness of seeing how to approach the land of Krishna prema. But at the same time, he would always adjust according to capacity. Some people could go quicker, but he would himself absorb an awful lot if somebody was not so capable. And that was very easy for him. He would not be disturbed. Sometimes you would hear things like, the guru accepts so much karma, and then they will become sick. So if you see the guru is ill, then it must be because the disciples, he's accepting too much bad karma. And they never give us that impression, that they think that they're taking on a burden. Quite the opposite. The attitude of being the humble servant of their master, who is the humble servant of their master, is always, the mood is always, what can I do to assist? And if somebody's having a difficulty, then it's for me to do better, to be a better guide. And in a few minutes, yes.
How do you know you will get a guru and the right guru? Because it is very much needed. We can all read a book, watch videos, but
Yeah.
we want that divine connection, that singular connection, that speaks to you. Because I'm individual, as I've been created as individual, so the language has to be individual. Like the name about this, you need to say connecting individual, it means connecting your heart, or probing your heart. And your heart is your heart, your sweetheart. And you just feel like this, you feel like that. And you desperately want it. How do you find it? And how do you recognize it?
Very important question. And quickly, because we do have something wonderful to see next. But there's the expression, by the grace of Krishna we get Guru, and by the grace of Guru we get Krishna. So we actually have all of the understanding in our heart already. Being part and parcel of Krishna, we know exactly what we should do every moment of every day, but we don't know that we know. And when we are earnestly seeking, we've come to enough, like you're mentioning, conclusions that this life, this world is not where I really belong. Then with a very sincere understanding like that. And maybe we've checked out various religions or studies or spiritual lines or something, but nothing has truly resonated. But when we have that kind of prayer, really sincerely, then Krishna sees this and he wants to make it easy for us. And he will put things in our face that say, here is a person, and we understand that person to be saying the same thing. We recognize it. That's the part about how do we know. We recognize it as, I know this. But we come to the conclusion that I've met somebody who's using these ears that I'm always using to get through to me in my heart. And they're able to say things that I know better than I can say myself. So I come to trust that this person that I see before me, I can contact this person. And I can approach this person with the attitude of, I need your help. I'm here to learn, with that kind of attitude, and earnestly, not with the attitude of challenging, like stump the Swami kind of situation. That won't help us at all. But when we recognize that there is a person who I can speak to, not as vague as my inner knowledge is, but somebody that I can speak to and pass my questions by for the purpose of learning, not like gyan, not like knowledge for its own sake, not to be building a big, big encyclopedia of knowledge, questions and answers, not like that, but for the purpose of realizing what is it that I am willing to bet my entire life on, that this is true. This is the kind of security that I would feel no fear at the time of death. I know that. I know this to be completely true. So when we are seeking that earnestly, Krishna will put that person in our life. And we will know. I know this. When I first heard the words of Srila Prabhupada, and I had something slightly sincere that I was praying, and his words came to me, and I couldn't even recognize anything about how they came, but as soon as I read, I thought, there is a God. I had been wondering about that. He knows him, and he's speaking so intelligently that he's not a madman thinking he's talking to God. He's very intelligent. Therefore, I just need to find him, and then I'll get God. And that was by the grace of Lord Nityananda. That happened. But that kind of certainty, and it was just mercy. I know that. It wasn't that I was a perfect seeker. That wasn't necessary. I was trying to be a seeker, and we learn from, especially from so many of these and from all of the sadhus, that no matter how much we want to find God, that is nothing compared to how much God wants to find us. One of the books that we were reading from this morning is named Loving Search for the Lost Servant. And that book follows other books like Shri Guru in His Grace, Search for Sri Krishna, Reality the Beautiful. These are all very high topics. And this topic is well worth thinking about all the time. The fact that the Lord wants us far more than in our most sincere moments we want Him. So we will rely on that very happily because it's true. So there's only so much we can do. But we'll get the responses as if we're extremely qualified and extremely sincere. Like the great teacher has been trying to show the students how to form the letters, and they're trying, but they don't quite get it, and finally the teacher will just go up, take their hand, this is what you do. So that's what the Lord is, if we're showing steadily that that's what we want, then we'll be, okay, Now I will show you precisely, and that guru will come to us. Yeah. And we can move on now to the next